We will call to order the regular board meeting of the Board of Election Commissioners for the City of Chicago. Good morning. My name is Maricel Hernandez. I'm the chair, and with me today is Commissioner June Brown
Present.
and Commissioner Laura Kotelman.
Present.
Next item on the agenda is consideration of the agenda. Are there any proposed changes? If not, we will proceed with approval of the special board meeting minutes of July 14, 2026. Motion.
Commissioner Kotelman moves. Seconded by Commissioner Brown.
Okay, this motion to approve the minutes has been seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Commissioner Kotelman votes aye. Commissioner Brown votes aye.
Motion passes. Next, we have the Executive Director's report.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioner Brown, Commissioner Kodum. As of this morning, the total number of vote by mail ballot applications is 183,537. I've been working with staff to finalize the ballot production timeline for the midterm November election. Additionally, I attended the Election Center Conference in Kansas City, Missouri last week alongside Commissioner Kotelman, Catalina Roman, Director of Procurement, and Clint Hurt, Manager of Pre-Election Voting and Logistics. The conference provided an excellent opportunity to connect with various election vendors, network with representatives from other jurisdictions to share strategies and ideas. Personally, I enjoyed every minute, especially on Thursday. I believe Commissioner Kotelman was with us when we were looking at new voting equipment. I mean, there's a lot of voting equipment available. So, Catalina, I don't know if you want to add anything to the conference you attended. I think it was a great.
I mean, it was my first conference, so it was a really nice opportunity. I got to meet a lot of our vendors, so it was nice to put a face to the name. But it was really good to see all the software and technology that's available to us. So I'm excited for next year. Start planning.
Clint is not in the room, but he had a lot of questions for the vendors as well.
Good.
And then Commissioner Kotelman, I don't know if you want to share an experience.
Sure, it was great to meet with other election officials from throughout the country and hear about the things that they're working on. And then the panels were really good. There was representatives from the federal government there available to answer questions and talk about what's going on, including the Postal Service. So it was great.
And that concludes.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear from our Assistant Executive Director, Mary Beth.
Good morning. I'm just wrapping up my tenure here. My last day is August 28th, this Friday. So wrapping up, making sure that we have procedures in place for HR onboarding and hiring, and we'll be transferring that over to the executive director. And right now, I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you to you all for a great opportunity. It's been a great experience. I'm really sorry that I have to go, and the staff here are wonderful people, very pleasant, hardworking, and very dedicated to what they do. So I feel like this board is in good shape. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
We're going to miss you. You've been a really integral part of this team, and you really, really helped out. And but this isn't the last time. I'm being positive about it. Who knows what the future will hold, and you know.
I feel a lot better after we interviewed several positions last week and this week. So it's exciting, and I think you'll be happy with some of the candidates that will be
Great.
you'll be interviewing.
Best of luck, and but it won't be. We'll see each other again. But thank you again for everything. Now we will turn to our Interim Public Information Director, Julie. Good morning.
August is almost gone. It's just a few business days left and a weekend. And that will bring us to Labor Day on Monday, September 7th. We will be off that day and we'll make an announcement to the public. Then the board meeting the very next day. Coming that week, September 10th and September 16th, there are Teen Voter Registration Day and National Voter Registration Day. We will be announcing our observance of those days. And we'll be promoting a voter registration event. I'd like to refer to Jay Taylor, who can tell us a little bit more about the upcoming event.
Great. Jay, come on up. What's the good word? There you go.
Thank you for your patience. So, good morning, Madam Chair. Good morning, Commissioner Brown, Commissioner Coleman. This is going, essentially, in the past, we've coordinated and kind of collaborated with the Cook County Emergency Response Team. They have prepared this day. During that same day, I ended up finding out the hard way because I tried to reserve the Daily Center for us and they already had it reserved. So we'll be fighting for that date in the future. They better be quick. But for the most part, they're allowing us to partner with them again. We're going to set up a booth. Obviously, we're going to try to recruit and get some people registered. But anything that I do, I want to be fun. I want to give out resources. So we'll have a booth set up. We'll have some fun games. I'm still working out some things I want to do. One thing I know that I want to do because we have the printing capabilities here is print out the big Illinois map. Have people just walk past, grab a sticker and say where they vote, maybe a quick photo op, a quick speech or something, but just something to get out some, some swag, some materials, hopefully some resources, and lastly, get some people registered. So again, we'll be looking for photo ops. Please look out for us. I love a good photo op to let the community know we're doing things and looking forward to it.
So where would this be?
So this is going to be right at the Daily Plaza, right outside out front.
Okay.
Yep.
Wonderful.
Where it
Yep.
usually is.
And I just completed the registration form yesterday, so we're all ready to go. So
Oh, good.
again, I'll be just asking for some nice goodies to give to the community while we're trying to get them registered. And
Great.
It'll be a good fun day.
Good, good. We probably need some little things to give away.
Yeah.
You have the,
Yeah. I'm gonna say this right here. We need some better swag. Your chart.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Because that excites, people and young people and, it's well worth having.
100%.
Yeah.
I think if you give out my picture.
Jay, Catalina and Clint, we had swag. They were giving out a lot of swag. So Catalina may have some ideas of swag that was available out there.
I just want to take this 1 second to again thank leadership because they have given me some autonomy to kind of how I can connect with the community. And again, I'm looking forward to taking that to other levels if permitted to in the future. So again, thank you to you guys. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
We're looking forward to it, Chip. Thank you.
And that's all from Public Affairs and Community Services.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Okay. Now we'll proceed to old business infrastructure projects and changes in election administration, including electronic poll books and voting equipment. You referred a little bit to it at the conference. You were looking at.
We were looking at different vendors. Yes,
Mhm.
there's a lot of vendors. I can't even hand count how many vendors have equipment for ballot marking. There's a number,
Mhm. Okay.
a great number. I just can't think off the top of my head how many vendors we saw,
Okay.
and they actually did demonstrate their ballot and their machines, equipment.
Great. That's all good. And anything else on the subject? Okay. Legislation, nothing.
Nothing right now. I have a running wish list, so to speak. I'm gonna circulate that with the three of you soon so that I can then circle back with Mr. Blada and just start getting prepared for next session. So other than that, nothing happening right now.
Although that would be the veto session, right? Coming up in November.
Yes, and it's going to be after the election, so it's unlikely they'll do anything election related, but sometimes they tack on that an election omnibus bill. And
Yeah, but
so,
I think that the more appropriate time probably would be in January when we have the regular session.
yeah,
So we'll,
I'm not feeling an immediate urgency, but Mr. Blada's standing ready to hear from us, and I'd just like to start opening some conversations about this.
early. And we can always add or edit as we go along.
Exactly. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we will proceed to new business. And the first item is purchase order with Transwestern for services from subcontractor Chicago Electrical Company for electrical service infrastructure upgrades in the board's copy room.
Good morning.
Catalina, how are you?
Good, how's everything doing?
Good, good.
Purchasing is requesting to issue a purchase order to Transwestern, who's our building landlord, which will be subcontracting electrical work to Chicago Electrical Company via proposal A26-177. In an effort to upgrade the Xerox equipment for the copy room, Chicago Electrical Company will need to perform receptacle modifications to accommodate the required power specifications for the new equipment being installed. To prevent any operational disruptions, the electrical company will need to proceed with the required modifications. This work is necessary prior to installation and will help ensure that the equipment functions properly once deployed. The scope of work is detailed below. Please consider granting a purchase order to Transwestern in an amount not to exceed $10,925.
Questions?
Maybe for Mr. Lasker in this, regarding the Transwestern, I understand with the subcontracting, but I'm just for my clarification, this is something that this is a courtesy to us because they can actually authorize this, can't they, for this amount?
I mean, they have authorized this for this amount,
So
yes.
this is like just letting us know?
Yeah, it's, well,
So,
for the tenant, as a tenant in the building, we have to do modifications like this through the landlord or with the landlord's approval.
right,
And the county has them working with this particular unionized.
right, but not for, I'm not talking about the subcontract. I'm just clarifying, for this amount, this is something that they could.
The reason was because we've already presented to the board for Transwestern.
Okay.
And this particular vendor was a subcontractor, but the previous work that was done was reimbursed via a grant. So this, however, is not.
This is not, but that you could have authorized it anyway, right? The two of you.
Because, well,
So I didn't-
it's under 25,000.
Yeah,
Right.
Commissioner Brown, I did not understand the question. Apologies. Yes, under 25,000, usually unilateral through the procurement officer and the executive director, they can approve it. But we are monitoring all expenditures to a single vendor within a 12-month period. And this brings us over that 25,000 12-month period, and that's why we brought it.
Okay, great. Okay, fabulous.
If there are no further questions, is there a motion to approve an expenditure with property management company Transwestern for electrical service upgrades to the board's copy room to be performed by subcontractor Chicago Electrical Company at a cost not to exceed $10,925.
So moved by Commissioner Brown.
Seconded by Commissioner Kotelman.
Properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, please state aye.
Commissioner Brown votes aye.
Commissioner Kotelman votes aye.
Motion passes. The next item is a short-term property use agreement with 11 East Adams LLC for additional office space. Carolina?
Purchasing is requesting approval to enter into a short-term lease agreement with 11 East Adams LLC, beginning on September 1st, 2026 and ending on February 28, 2027. The leased space will be utilized by the registration department to conduct petition filing activities and to ensure adequate room for staff, equipment, and public access during this process. The monthly base rent is $9,578. The aggregate amount for the 6-month lease is $57,468. This short-term lease will provide the necessary operational capacity to support upcoming petition filing requirements. Additionally, to satisfy the terms of the lease agreement, the board is required to deposit a refundable amount of $9,578. Please consider entering into a short-term lease agreement with 11 East Adams LLC in an amount not to exceed $67,046 for a durational term of 6 months beginning on September 1st, 2026 through February 28, 2027.
Are there any questions?
You know I do. I'd be so disappointed if I did. And I think it's you again, Mr. Lasker. I'm looking at the contract. The duration, and I heard, and thank you guys both for, this is wonderful. We have space. Ms. Spera and Ms. Ramon. The duration on mine says through August 31st with that option to terminate. Why are we doing it through August? with
So,
the added?
yeah, very good question. And this is clearly an issue that arose and that we've handled, but it's quite an issue and a good question. So when Mrs. Spera and Ms. Roman first started talking with the landlords, it was about a 5 to a 6 month short-term use, and they were fine with that.
Okay,
Then when the time came that they actually presented the contract, their legal counsel told our legal counsel that the landlord wanted to put a 1-year term, even though they know that we only want it for 5 or 6 months. So our outside counsel, at my request and direction, responded back to say, well, then you need to put an early termination clause without any penalty in there. And they readily agreed to that. So we are locked in on the lease through February 28th.
okay.
And then that section 31 of the agreement has a no penalty termination clause so that we can end it whenever we want, on the off chance without any penalty. And if it's for whatever reason, I don't think it's going to happen, but if for any reason we wanted to keep it for the additional 6 months, we would come back before the board to seek the appropriation for the additional time. I don't think we'll need it, but yes, there's no penalty for us to withdraw after February 28th, which is our intended time period.
That was just a concern.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I'm done.
Okay.
For
Is
now.
there a motion to approve a short-term lease agreement with 11 East Adams LLC for additional office space with a total cost not to exceed $67,046 for the first 6 months of occupancy beginning September 1st, 2026?
Commissioner Kodelman moves.
Second by Commissioner Brown.
Properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, please state aye.
Commissioner Kodelman votes aye.
Commissioner Brown votes aye.
Motion passes. Next item is a contract with Suburban Exposition Services LLC for drapery rentals and deliveries. Carolina?
The procurement office is requesting your consideration and approval to award a contract for drapery rental to Suburban Exposition Services. Suburban Exposition's drapery rental services are required for the November 2026 election. During the election cycle, the board rents various sites for early voting on election day. Drapery is needed for our early voting supercenter site, 8 early voting sites in Block 37. The drapery is required to ensure voters with privacy around the voting machines and windows of the early voting sites. The board has worked with Suburban Exposition in the past and therefore is confident that Suburban has the capacity to fulfill the board's drapery needs for the November 2026 election. Suburban Drapery has confirmed their capacity to fulfill and meet the board's drapery needs in preparation for the election. Suburban most recently provided the board with drapery rental for the March 2026 elections. The procurement office recommends that a contract be awarded to Suburban Exposition Services for drapery rental for the November 2026 election in an amount not to exceed $78,022.50.
Yeah, okay. For you
Yes,
this time,
ma'am.
Carolyn. Is there a way, or do they give us any price benefit for a longer term, or is it just because we don't use them 24/7? Do we get a price benefit because we've used them? And I remember there was an emergency and I couldn't find my notes. We had to do an emergency purchase. So is there something where we get a benefit of being a long-term?
So I know we have a longer-term relationship with them, and they have a really good relationship with John Powell specifically. So they are allowing us to keep some of the drapery for certain site locations, at least for the ones that we know we're going to have steadily over the next elections,
Mhm.
and they're letting us keep that.
Or do they give us a price break?
I'm just wondering if it's because we can, because at first I thought, why don't we do the municipal election too, but we're under two different budgets, right?
We're under two different budgets, but also the thing is, we don't know for sure that we're gonna have all of the same site locations. And so
That's
we
right.
need to amend the order, because I know specifically with block 37, for example, I know that there's a little bit of inconsistency with the
Right.
spaces that they give us over there, so we're not.
But do they give us a deal because we've been with them a long time?
But that's the next order.
Friends and family.
I mean, something, because this is constant. Yeah, no, we've been there a long time.
Well, they're really good, from my understanding, you know, I've had a long discussion with Jason about this, and I know the vendor's really good about coming and helping us set up, and from my understanding, that's not something that they necessarily need to do. You know, I think they appreciate us, the business that we give them for every election.
If I could just chime in, because I was on another recent conversation. At your direction previously, we've looked into would the board want to own its own brewery?
And we said, no.
That's really not
cost
feasible.
Prohibitive.
And,
Well-
yeah, and my team is actually trying to look into it now, but we've reached out to quite a few vendors, and there are not a lot of vendors that are able to produce the specific brewery we need. But again, our site locations are not consistent. And vendors do not sell the hardware stuff.
Right.
That is another
That's
thing we
where I
have
was
to
gonna
look
point
into.
out. These grapes don't just hang themselves. They come with a relatively sturdy metal pole structure that they hang from, which need, and that's, I believe, where they help set those up at the location.
they
even
do.
though it's not really written in.
Yeah.
I was just trying to see,
Yeah.
we're here, friends and family rate, so what that's about it.
If there are no further questions, is there a motion to approve a rental agreement with Suburban Exposition Services LLC for drapery rentals and deliveries in relation to the November 3rd, 2026 general election with a cost not to exceed $78,022.50?
So moved by Commissioner Brown.
Seconded by Commissioner Kotelman.
Properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, please state aye.
Commissioner Brown votes aye.
Commissioner Kotelman votes aye.
Motion passes. Next, we have a professional services agreement with Page Security and Investigation Services, Inc. And we have Carolina.
The purchasing department is requesting approval to establish a professional services agreement with Page Security and Investigation Services Incorporated to secure private security services to support the 2026 and 2027 elections. These security personnel will work in coordination with the Chicago Police Department to provide comprehensive security coverage at designated election sites. Their presence is intended to enhance safety, ensure orderly operations, and assist with incident response as needed. This request is made under a piggyback arrangement utilizing the City of Chicago's publicly procured contract with Page Security and Investigation Services Incorporated, a MeBVB certified vendor. All prices, fees, and other costs associated with the requested services shall align with Page Security, Inc.'s current contract with the City of Chicago, specifically contract PO number 296778, specification number 1230856, which is effective through March 13, 2030. Please consider entering into a PSA with Page Security and Investigation Services Incorporated for a durational term expiring at the conclusion of August 24, 2027, in a dollar amount not to exceed $900,000.
And this is for the next three elections,
Yes.
it says, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, now the chair triggered something when she asked about crossing budgets, because it goes into FY
Yeah.
2027.
Right.
And so, they'll be doing all of the sites. Will we still be using the police investigations? Is that part of our budgeting or?
The police, they don't really work out with us for investigations. But for security, they still do provide some security. But they have cut back in recent years, which is why we expanded our use of private services.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say,
Oh,
Yeah,
it's hiding in the back. Hoping I didn't see it.
Yeah, that's how it's hiding, more information. So we have, I don't know if you know, or I'm sure you do, recently, CBD has been going through quite a few changes at the top of their structure. So we've reached out and we've come in contact with everybody who's being put in place. So they are going to give us coverage, but pretty much like they did the last election. So they're going to be able to do our location here, the location at the warehouse, and at the super site, but it's going to be the same hour schedule that we've done before. So we're going to have a meeting with them in the next week so we can sit down and discuss everything regarding our needs as well as election needs and as a whole for the upcoming November election.
So,
So is,
go ahead, go ahead.
no, I'm just, are they providing us with less services than in the past?
Well, it's going to be structured the same as it was during the primary election. So they covered, they didn't do weekends because of overtime. They did do 8 to 4. And then the security service took over from that point. And the security service worked weekends and holidays. So we had two locations at our warehouse where we were covering 2 floors. So the security agency did that as well.
So the police didn't do weekends, but this one covers it in this cost, right? So I see the bulk of the contract is the finance put in an extra almost 700,000. Is that on the next year's budget? 675. So is that appropriate, or is it something, or we can get an answer from the budget people?
Well, the board has a tremendous number of contracts that cover the 12.
Try to read all of them.
Goes, right. But we're frequently approving expenditures here that are going to come out of next year's budget. Well, like my contract goes from July to the end of June, for example. The city has always, and county have pretty much, worked with us on giving us what we need. The statutory scheme, of course, is that we're supposed to have the chief judge issue warrants. If that's necessary, we can. So we are anticipating $300,000 for this November election, $300,000 for the February election in 2027, and then $300,000 if needed for an April runoff. So 600 of the 900,000 appropriation today would come from next year's fiscal budget.
So the 675, the 75,000. So at the end of 2027, we're going to start 2028 electoral board procedures. So yes, we will need a security firm plus additional CPD. We may need a lot. Okay. So I'm gonna assume that the finance department included 75,000 for the 2028.
Okay, so this was their projection
Yes.
based on that.
Yes.
So,
I think that's what you were gonna ask.
That-
The 75? Okay.
And if that's also at this point, the city has not finalized the budget. So she put in the request of 675. We'll see what they actually.
okay. Well, good for crossings, I guess. And we've used them, did we use them before, not this midterm, but the one before? We've never used this company?
They have a current contract with
Okay, November.
They're minority-owned business and veteran-owned business as well.
Okay. I'm done.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve a professional services agreement with Page Security and Investigation Services, Inc. as a subcontract under City of Chicago contract number 296778 for security guard services at the hourly rates established in the city contract and with total expenditures not to exceed $900,000 for the 2026 general election and the 2027 municipal, aldermanic, and runoff elections.
Commissioner Kodelman moves.
Seconded by Commissioner Brown.
Properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, please state aye.
Commissioner Kodelman votes aye.
Commissioner Brown votes aye.
Motion passes. We also have a purchase order with 10X Software Solutions Inc. for splitter cables and card encoders. Carolina?
Last one, I promise.
I've missed you.
The procurement office is requesting your consideration and approval to issue a purchase order to 10X Software Solutions. We are requesting approval to purchase replacement Y splitters and card readers needed for the proper functioning of our e-poll books. Several units have been lost or damaged over recent election cycles, and these components are essential to ensure reliable setup, connectivity, and operation of our 10X e-poll book equipment. The quantity requested is intended to fully replace the missing and damaged equipment and provide adequate coverage for the next 3 election events. Maintaining sufficient inventory is critical to preventing disruptions on election day and ensuring the smooth and secure operation of our polling sites. The total cost for this expenditure is $11,500. Please consider approving a purchase order to 10X Software Solutions to purchase replacement equipment for our e-poll books in an amount not to exceed $11,500.
Any questions?
Yeah, but this time for the GC. This is not covered in our current contract?
The pricing is, but not loss and damage on this. On these somewhat consumables.
Yeah, unfortunately, these consumables only have a 1-year warranty, but if we need to order replacements, we have to pay for that. Those extras,
Okay,
which
so-
is replacements.
This is the best deal we can get on this.
I pushed on this one. We did look at other, we did purchase other equipment.
didn't
We
work.
did purchase like a few different options on Amazon. And I went directly to the vendor that supplies the card readers. We tested it out and it works. However, I confirmed with the third-party vendor with specifically the card reader. 10X, we don't know for sure if 10X does
Uses
something on
the
their end
same.
to program the card reader. And after discussing with IT, with Matt Lynn, he said that this could essentially disrupt operations with the e-poll book. It could have an adverse effect on the e-poll book. So I think our plan is we would like to maybe do some more testing before we decide to venture out and purchase this equipment through third-party vendors.
Okay, have a 10X issue, but, so everything else with them, how long is their contract continuing?
I
Any
think it's till 28, if I'm not mistaken.
And they've done everything that we wanted? Well, I know you've been working very hard with them, so.
Yeah, I mean, that I know of, there haven't been any issues or anything.
And I know this is, because this again is like that other one at the beginning, you guys could just authorize this between the two of you or.
So this one, we already, between Sandra and I, or between the executive
You've already
director and I, we've already approved.
So we're kind of ratifying
So
this. Uh-huh.
so that's why this needs to go for additional.
Okay, okay, I got you. After the next, the municipal.
It's over.
It's 2027 for sure.
Too many contract dates in my brain.
I think, I'd have to go back, look, I think there's an option to extend it because the equipment could still work, but I do think you're right about it, 27th.
Yeah, because you presented to the board for the both 2026 plus 2027.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's expired in 2027.
I was probably asking a lot of 10X questions at the time. Yeah, and I'm fine. I think I've asked all the questions on that, but I do want to thank the two of you especially for this procurement and the presentations. You know, I'm a sticky wicky, so, and let's make a deal somewhere, but thank you both.
Okay, is there a motion to approve an expenditure with 10X Software Solutions for USB-C splitter cables and card encoders at a combined cost not to exceed $11,500?
Because she said they've done,
Well,
we just.
ratify the executive director's and procurement
Good.
officer's decision.
Okay,
My proposed motion. Is there a
Okay.
motion?
Commissioner Coleman moves. Seconded by Commissioner Brown.
Probably moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Commissioner Coleman votes aye.
Commissioner Brown votes aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Now we go to our legal report. Mr. Lasker.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Commissioners. I do have a few things to catch you up on, just to keep you apprised. We've had some cases from the Electoral Board have gone up on judicial review. In the Circuit Court, case number 10 is Marcus Lewis. Oh, excuse me, this is a congressional recount left over from the March primary in the Republican Party. First congressional candidate, Marcus Lewis, was contesting the results of that election. That case was dismissed on the 14th of August, and he has indicated his intent to appeal. Just so you know, the basis of the complaint is that about 10 days before the primary election, he saw WGN TV put a ticker across the bottom of the screen that was declaring him as the winner of the election. So even though that was 10 days before the election, so he thinks he's supposed to have won that election. It was dismissed with prejudice. He also had taken that case previously to the federal court, which we were unaware of because he did not name the Chicago board in his federal court action. Federal court dismissed it. Seventh Circuit already affirmed that dismissal. Then he chose to come to the state court. So this case was dismissed both for res judicata and claim preclusion because he already brought it to the federal court, but also because he filed the complaint 18 days after the deadline for filing the contest of a primary election. Case number 17 is Daryl Robinson versus us. That's a judicial review case which was dismissed last week, Friday. He has also indicated a decision to an intent to appeal. That was just last week, Friday. It was dismissed. This is a reminder that it was a standard signature exam case. He came in to approximately 1,200 signatures under the minimum. There are also several cases under dual circulation in the school board cases. Those have all been consolidated into one case. The oral arguments happened late last week. It was Thursday or Friday. It is pending decision. The judge took it under advisement. Wanted a copy of the transcripts, which became available yesterday morning. So we sent them to the judge right away. And so any day now we could have a decision on those.
What judges, do you know what judge that's?
Jimenez. And she, heard all the arguments and had good questions. And there has been a lot of turnover on that floor. I've appeared before a few new judges on that floor. It's always a different kind of thing for judges to take election cases. I tip my hat to the judges I've appeared in front of before. They've all been very well. They've had some good coaching from the presiding judge over there, Maureen Ward Kirby, takes these election cases very seriously. Right. She's talked to me about really providing some training to the judges before they get a case handed to them, and it shows. So I appreciate that. There are two cases I want to inform you of, if you're not already aware. The Board of Elections, our Board of Elections is not a party to the cases, but they could affect our ballots. One is the case of Muhammad versus Pritzker, State Board of Elections et al. That's in the federal court, 26 CV 06913. He's was attempting to run for U.S. Senate. He's arguing against the signature requirement for independent candidates. He filed approximately 20% of the signatures that were required. His motion for an injunction was denied on the 12th of August. Also, there's a candidate, Byron Sigcho Lopez in the 4th Congressional District, also running as an independent, also challenging the signature requirement for the independent candidates. He also had an objection against him at the state officers electoral board that removed him from the ballot for insufficient signatures. So now he's in federal court contesting the signature requirement. The briefing schedule ends tomorrow, and the court this is on his motion for a preliminary injunction. The court is expected to rule very shortly thereafter. And with both of these cases, I am in touch with the general counsel for the State Board of Elections, who is promptly providing me with updates. Finally, there was some news yesterday out of the United States Supreme Court. I know you're all aware, but I just want to give you some updates as to what I've been monitoring. In the case of President Trump, Donald Trump versus California et al., the court has released a lower court restraining order against the president's executive order regarding mail-in balloting. the executive order says that states have to give the detailed personal private information of their voters, like social security numbers, driver's licenses, and so forth. And if they fail to do that under the executive order, then the post office will not handle their vote by mail ballots for those states. The interesting thing here is that there's a second lawsuit that was not a part of yesterday's Supreme Court decision. It involves the same executive order and the post office's new rule, League of Women Voters versus Trump. There's also an injunction that has been entered in that case, but the Supreme Court did not lift that injunction yesterday. All of this is very much up in the air as to what's going to happen with whether or not the executive order will essentially be approved. The court noted yesterday it was not ruling that the executive order was lawful. It was just saying that the administration has the right to continue making plans for enforcement of it while the litigation continues. The post office has already stated publicly that it will not move forward with its new rule unless both of the injunctions are lifted, and so far only one of them has been. I spoke this morning with the general counsel for the State Board of Elections, and she said that at this point, at this moment, the state's message is, quote, stay the course, and we will know more within a few days. She's going to follow back with me, of course, and let us know if there's any kind of guidance from the state that all of us election authorities need to comply with. We're all in this together, all 107 or whatever election authorities in the state. So I'll definitely keep you posted on that. That's my legal report for today. Happy to take any questions.
No, thank you. I just, going to those, two, cases regarding the, Trump's executive order. My concern is, the voters and possible confusion arising from, I don't think the media explained the case well, because there was no mention of the League of Women Voters case.
In a lot of the big media, you're correct. I mean,
And so I think that the impression left out there yesterday was that the post office could go ahead and continue doing what it needs to do. And that is not accurate. On top of that, there's the question of would even assuming what I call a worst case scenario, I don't think the post office can get its act together by the November election and have, put this in place. I think, we're doing the right thing by just moving forward. We're gonna continue doing what we've always done and prepare. And let's see what happens with these cases.
so September 19th is the day under federal law that we start shipping out UOCAVA ballots to the overseas military and overseas civilians. Then September 24th, the election code authorizes us to start sending out our domestic vote by mail ballots. So another thing to hope for is that maybe at least this won't be set in place by then so that the outgoing mail ballots can get out. And then we will focus on our drop boxes, have our public relations really hit home on where our drop
Yeah.
boxes are.
I think drop boxes are going to be super important.
Yeah.
And we need to get the word out early and often about the drop box.
And in the worst case scenario, Madam Chair, we just focus our messaging on early voting sites
Right,
and try to get everybody into those early voting sites.
exactly,
Yeah, which
exactly.
we'll have open for several weeks before the election.
I think we've had a lot of discussions and meetings.
Yeah.
About, plan A through Z.
Yes.
And I feel very confident, that we're prepared to do what needs to be done. And, you guys are great And we'll get it done.
These are exceptional circumstances, but I'm confident the crew we've got will do the very best that an election authority can do.
Mhm.
Given the short-term changes we hope for the best and we'll prepare for the worst.
Right.
There's also a general national consensus that it cannot occur for the midterm unless something outstanding or totally exceptional happens on either side. But there is I think some filings this morning at the Supreme Court.
really?
Follow up on it. So I think that's already happening. I have a couple of other questions, just status questions. The ethics statement status and for the, and this may not be you, this may be saying, Mrs. Spear, the audits, because I know we were told a percentage of them were done, but do we have them or are we getting a new group or what are we doing?
So I definitely met with staff, including, was present during our meeting for the audit, and Evelina was present as well. We do plan on presenting. And Catalina, do you have an update from the audit vendor? From Roth and Co, I believe we were gonna meet with them to see if they will finish off 2020.
Yeah, so they did agree to it, but feel like they've over the last few months, they've kind of flip-flopped on the pricing for it, so well, every few weeks that they review the documents that they're requesting, they keep increasing their price, and so I'm working with Pick to review a quote that they gave us, essentially kind of detailing all of.
2020?
Yes.
That's not a breach?
We'll have to see what it comes in at. The original contract, as I recall, did not specify a cost for each audit. It was a contract for several years worth of audits with a much larger number, so they have not reached their cap on what the contract
But what
authorized.
about time limits?
I don't think it had a stated time limit in there either.
But we have, well, it has to have as a contract, to be a contract.
Well, the
it has to have
durational
that.
term, but I don't think we're at the end of the durational term of the contract. They were supposed to do several years worth of
Right,
audits under this contract, and it sounds like a decision's been made internally not to move forward with them for other years other than the 2020, which they're almost done with.
yeah, they
So,
keep telling us they are done, that's 2020, this is
Yeah.
60.
yeah,
They never came to meet with us either.
I-
Say something.
Okay.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
okay,
Finished 2020, Catalina was in the process of.
Okay.
Before how much additional cost it was gonna cost to present it to the board, and then we were gonna do another RFP.
Yeah.
For the remainder of the
Okay.
year.
okay. And if they're not doing it satisfactorily, we need to look at whether they are fulfilling the performance of their contract. 2020, that just seems a little too long for an audit. We will still be making new mistakes on top of the old ones if we don't get a recommendation by now. And as far as the ethics statements, do we have a status or is that billed out or what's the status of that statement?
So, we've had outside counsel review it, and then I reviewed her recommendations. I did circulate that with you commissioners. I have not received any feedback, yet. So
Can you just recirculate that?
sure.
And then we'll get back to you.
Yep.
Okay, I'm done.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, so now we will proceed with financial reports. We have a balance sheet and voucher listing for the city of Chicago, a 2026 appropriation, number 26-05 dated August 25th, 2026, in the amount of $823,725.90. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved by Commissioner Brown, that's City of Chicago.
Seconded by Commissioner Kodelman.
Properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, please state aye.
Commissioner Brown votes aye.
Commissioner Kodelman votes aye.
Motion passes. We have a balance sheet and voucher listing for the County of Cook, a 2026 appropriation number 26-05 dated August 25th, 2026, in the amount of $4,096,420.72. Is there a motion to approve?
Commissioner Kodelman moves.
Seconded by Commissioner Brown.
Properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, please state aye.
Commissioner Kodelman votes aye.
Commissioner Brown votes aye.
Motion passes. Do we have any requests for public comment? No, okay. We have no requests for public comment. Is there a need for executive session today?
So thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, no, no executive session. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved by Commissioner Brown.
Seconded by Commissioner Coleman.
Properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, please state aye.
Commissioner Brown votes aye.
Commissioner Coleman votes aye.
Motion passes. We're adjourned.